I do have one more talking point, and then I guess we could just open it up for other stuff. And we've kind of been alluding to it already. It won't be a long one, but it's
Afterwards, I'll probably have to the dog out and leak
Kotor
real
remake.
fast.
Yeah, we can take a break. That's fine. But yeah, Kotor remake.
God damn it.
Yeah. So
I think
recently,
I can sum up everybody by just saying.
I'm sure you can, but I will just say real quick. Recently, a video was released by the Unreal Cinema, like, devs or something. I don't know who it was.
Oh yeah, a
Do
few
you,
of my
do you
viewers
that's
sent
the rumor? Because that's what I thought. That
Right.
the rumor.
Well, no, there was a video, like, the video did come out. It's like of Trask walking through. It's like an Unreal Engine.
Yeah, it's a fan video. They're working on like their own fan series.
Yeah.
Right.
Movie.
They
for
just
the
put out a
Kotor.
video of like the rendering of Bastila, and everybody lost their minds over that.
Well, before that, there was also a video, like a test footage video of Trask, like, running into
Yep,
the
I saw that.
the room where you
Fire.
wake up at the very beginning of KOTOR. Yeah. So there was that too, but yeah, so that came out and that spurred a whole nother fucking just cavalcade of KOTOR 3 in development.
Oh,
KOTOR remake incoming. KOTOR TV show incoming.
Wasn't
Click my link. I need likes.
Apron,
Basically,
the
I hate-
fan-made remake?
Yes,
Wasn't that
so-
also in the same Unreal Engine?
Yes. That was an Unreal Engine fan remake, and the guy made the mistake of I used to go to his stream like all the time because it looks amazing. I actually used his assets. He gave me permission to. I actually used his assets for my art D20 games because a lot of my game took place on Terrace and a little bit on Kashyyyk too, but yeah. So I mean, it looked fantastic. I was super stoked, and then he made the mistake of
shit that.
he made the mistake of making a Patreon.
Yeah.
He had he's doing
Patreon.
something Star Wars related, and he made a Patreon.
Yep. The big deal clamped down on that.
Yeah. No.
It's kind of the same thing with the Halo community.
Oh, really? What happened
They
with that?
did a community-made port of Halo Online that was originally a Russian-only project. It's kind of like Halo 3 with a like weird new models, new bonus items, this whole thing, and they got shut down literally within a month of Apron getting shut down. Like nobody was making money until that moment, and then it's kind of just like every game dev just cracked down on it at the same time. Just depressing.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, not to, I say this with a hammer and sickle waving behind me, but not to project my personal politics too much onto it, but like the absolute need to gatekeep the absolute fuck out of your IP so goddamn much that you have to shut down
Right.
non-profit enterprises, right? Like basically just works of love about your IP. That's so
Somebody
just
had
awful.
an idea
It is
100 years ago.
It is only
Allowed to have that idea anymore.
It is only conducive to like fucking like 5 dudes in suits sitting around a fucking board table. Like it's so just it's so anti creativity. It's so anti fun. It's awful. And like this isn't exactly what the KOTOR remake we're talking about right now, but like
Yeah, I was gonna say, getting back to the topic at hand.
right, but this will be the last I'll say of that. But like it's just it's
Go ahead.
it's so disappointing how stingy these companies are when like they make billions and billions and billions of dollars a year off of the IPs that they purchase and have no actual real like they had no part in their creation or inception, right?
don't give a shit about Star Wars. I just am being paid $20 million to be in it.
It's a profitable,
To produce it.
Yeah, the IP makes money, so I now own IP because I have more money than person who had previous IP.
They should
Only-
treat the,
Sound
They should
weird.
really
The
treat
only person.
like-
No, please.
Sorry, go ahead, Thor.
they should really treat these things like Rockstar did with do you remember episodes from Liberty City for GTA 4? That was originally a mod on ModDB. I
No
was
shit.
following it back when
Right.
it was on ModDB.
No shit.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then it disappeared off of ModDB, and all of a sudden it was an actual release. And I was chuffed to see
Interesting.
that. That was amazing because they basically bought the team and created Rockstar North or South.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
And
Right, yeah.
that's what these companies do. Buy these things, make them profitable, I suppose, if it must be.
That's the thing. Like, does it have to be profitable? I don't know. I guess that's the
No.
that's the question for the
I'm
philosophers.
not
But
The kind of person that could probably compare anything in the world, given any low assault. But a few, maybe a year ago now, actually, there was a private team that was working on converting Halo Online, which was a build of Halo 3 that only had multiplayer, only ever came out in Russian markets. Never got released in the West, never got released in Japan, never got released in most of Europe.
Stark, sorry to interrupt, but are you using a push to talk or something? Because you're cutting out a little bit. Like, basically, when you start a
That's what I was
sentence,
thinking.
when you start a sentence, it like
Apologies.
it
might
mutes
just
like
be
your
a,
the first second of that sentence.
Give 5 seconds to it. I'll increase my input sensitivity.
Okay.
Haven't changed any of my settings yet.
Yeah, because I'll look at the webcam call and I'll see your mouth moving, and then it'll just be really up, and then
Right. Hopefully that's better.
hopefully.
So what I was saying is that it was a Russian release of Halo 3 with only multiplayer, no campaign, firefight, or anything like that, and that it added new content, new skins, new costume, new fur pieces, sort of thing, and a fan company are recreating it fast in English, and they immediately got a cease and known by the as soon as they were known by the general public. I'm gonna increase my input sensitivity again because I realize it's going out.
Yeah, I get what I understand what you're saying though. Yeah, it is cutting out a little bit, but I understand you. But basically, once something gets enough traction to like be at any way, like even if they didn't want to monetize it, if they did, it would make money, and therefore it becomes a threat. It's like it's like preemptively treating them as a competitor, right? Which, like, in the dog eat dog world of business, bootstraps and stuff, but like, then that would be that's valid behavior to protect your IP.
Right, and that's what Disney's going to do, and we've seen that with the treatment of some of the Legends authors and things like that.
Well, that's a whole nother can of worms, because they actually own the rights to those stories.
And that's a case where, yeah.
That's why Disney won't canonize Republic Commando. That's why they won't canonize Knights of the Old Republic. They'll make a bastardized version of it because they own the IP, but not the work itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You seen everything about them stealing people's custom ship designs? From like online art.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I remember.
That one really got my back.
I remember when that got exposed too, and it basically got brushed under the rug. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, a year or two ago, Disney was essentially caught stealing, or it wasn't Disney. It wasn't specifically Disney. It was actually Marvel. It was illustrators at Marvel were they essentially got caught taking 3D artists' models of Star Wars ships that they made themselves right? Just like fan creations, right?
Even completely custom designs as well.
Yeah, and then basically just drawing them in. Sorry, Stark, are you trying to talk? I see your mouth moving.
I think they are, yeah, trying to stop it. We can't hear a thing.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to talk for a while. We just
do hand signals.
Stark, use the green thing around the talk like and it,
okay, well, I guess I'll finish my thought, but yeah, basically, yeah, so they were caught essentially just tracing those designs and putting them into the Marvel Star Wars comics, which I don't know if that ever got resolved or if it was just swept under the rug. It might have been like a settle out of court sort of deal, but like
as far as I know, it's still happening. That's what I saw some months ago, that it was still happening.
God damn. That's fucking awful, man. Like, and artists, like, amateur artists, I'm dating one. I know this struggle. Amateur artists make jack shit. Like, it is not easy to survive as an artist in this economy, in this world, right? Where the most valuable things are purely selling your labor to someone else, right? So, like, that's so fucking heinous, man, to me. I still don't hear you, Stark, if you're trying to talk. I don't know, man. You might want to restart your Discord or something. They traced a scene from The Force Awakens 2 as well, if I remember right. Damn.
Really?
Yeah.
That one I heard much about.
I just remember when I remember hearing about this and like looking into it. It was mostly Pinterest articles or Pinterest pages of like 3D artists making ships and stuff because that's what they love doing. And they were basically traced and put into official Marvel Star Wars comics. Like, goddamn, you think they'd hire people who can draw their own fucking ships? It's like,
you would have thought they would have used their own wealth of source material.
Right. Oh wait, that doesn't exist anymore because we'd have to pay Timothy Zahn and everyone else.
Oh, and plus we binned it all and we don't know which parts we're keeping yet.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is like, oh god. I follow Timothy Zahn on Facebook and stuff, and I see his articles, or I see the stuff he posts, and like, because he's written new Disney canon stuff as well as old Disney canon stuff, and like,
yeah, because he had to like redo a whole nother Thrawn trilogy.
Yeah, he basically wrote it all over again, except like it had to be just so slightly different.
I don't see why they bothered. I mean, it's not as if at this point Star Wars could be salvaged. It's already a wreck. Every sci-fi is a wreck. No matter how, like, I adore sci-fi, and Star Wars as well, but it's a wreck. There's so many little and odd bits of lore that just don't match up, and you just got to take what you like and go with it.
Yeah, and it's always been like that. Like, I don't like. It's you can't really just be that person saying like, oh, sci-fi used to make sense. Sci-fi used to be consistent and used to all line up. No, it fucking didn't. But like, there's a difference between like subtle retcons here and then and just wiping the slate clean, saying nothing happened ever. Nothing ever happened before this acquisition in 2012, 13, something like that. Mm-hmm. So I guess does chat have any Star Wars related questions at all? About anything really, or do you have any talking points that you want us to talk about? I don't know how long Stark's going to be gone for, so we might just start talking again. But
right,
I don't know. I've got a reasonable amount of people watching, so if anyone's got any subjects for discussion, I'm definitely open for it. I'm just going to keep drinking until I'm like shit faced. So par for the course. Yeah, now's your chance. Now's your chance, Winder. You can go ham without You can ask me all the Star Wars questions you want without having to interrupt my KOTOR gameplay. without me sitting on that stupid fucking conversation right after you escape Paragus for like 2 hours. Because I don't know why I always get caught up in like a lore debate in that conversation. You know, the one where Kray's like, "Be silent, we're having a conversation here."
Right. I don't know. I always feel like everything slows down for me when I get to that point in the game because you just got off of the grind of fucking Paragus and doing the same thing you've done 100 goddamn times, and you just want to like sit down for a fucking minute
before you have to chug through Telos.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, fuck, I'm gonna enjoy my few moments here on the Ebonhawk before I have to go on to another basically starter planet before I can actually like free roam around.
Before you get Batu rimmed.
Some of the mods that come out on Deadly Stream, I just seen this unique Sith Academy student, so they're just giving mateys a mustache. He looks so stupid.
Yeah. You like that one person on Deadly Stream who posts a bunch of like texture mods with no screenshots at all, and they just take up the fucking search engine? Do you know what I'm talking about? Either of you, I guess.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't know.
I don't know who they are, but like they post so many things, like, and it's just a title. It's just a title and a and you know, it's a file. Like it's got the file has size to it.
Right.
But like there's no screenshots, and it's supposed to be like, oh yeah, retexture of Mandalorians or something, you know, like
What? On Deadly Stream?
on Deadly Stream, yeah. If you go to I think it's like I think skins is its own category on Deadly Stream. So you go to skins, and then, yeah, if you just like scroll through all the pages, eventually you get to one page that's just all taken up by this one guy who posts a bunch of reskins with literally no screenshots showing you what the skins are supposed to look like at all. It could turn Kreia into like a big saggy titted naked woman, and you have no idea.
I just
have you seen Ethics did Black Kreia, Black Atten.
Yes, I did.
Why?
I did the Black Queen Talia one because I actually kind of liked how that looked.
Well, I think that would look better with her accent.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like it made her look. It made her look Indian.
That's coming from an Earth perspective. But that's coming from an Earth perspective.
Yeah.
Where we've got the bias towards the accent.
Yeah. I just hated how Queen Talia was the only person on Onderon with an Indian accent. You think everyone on Onderon would have that accent?
It was a bit odd, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true. I never really thought about that.
Because like they really latched onto that later with like Clone Wars and stuff by like having all the Twi'leks be French for some reason, you know. But like, did you guys notice that?
It was meant to be like their royalty accent.
Yeah, I kind of figured that too. But like, then why didn't like the Royal Guard have that accent? Or Vaklu?
Yeah, exactly.
Vaklu's in the family too.
Yeah, I mean he was regent to Queen Talia.
It was a little jarring having Queen Talia be black and Vaklu, her cousin, being white, though. I will say that. I mean, it's not impossible. I have a couple. I mean, I don't really look it because I've been inside for a year and a half straight. But I'm actually not white. I'm Mexican. I just am very white right now, like pale right now because I haven't been outside. But I have family members that are pretty dark skinned. Especially on my Mexican side, but yeah, I mean it was still a little bit of a stretch. Okay, so got distracted. What would you say is the main difference between the "you were afraid" exile and the "you had no choice" exile? So this is referencing Kreia's conversation with the exile. I think you need restored content mod to understand this. But
right.
Which I mean, all of us will have played. But it would have been the "you were afraid" was that you were afraid. It's not light side versus dark side, is it?
I almost think it was. But I'm not exactly sure.
I'm just trying to remember the circumstances of it, because Because you were afraid is basically you were too afraid to, shoulder your guilt, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were too afraid to face the fact that you caused a basically a near genocidal reaction, as HK puts it. Whereas the you had no choice was like, I don't know. It's like you had no choice to give up the Force after what you did, because otherwise it would have killed you or turned you into a Force wound like Nihilus, or something like that. Light side spare the masters versus dark side spare the masters. Oh, is that what the you had no choice is? I don't know. Winder, you like to nitpick the absolute fuck out of that scene, so I don't exactly know the parts that you're referencing specifically.
Anybody? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, I can hear
Hello.
Star.
Hello there.
God, finally. Okay, I have to readjust all of my settings real quick. So give me 5 seconds.
I just realized I'm not, maximized anymore. There you go. Well, okay, so, I mean, you're afraid versus you had no choice. I mean, it seems just, to me, it just seems explanatory. I mean, so, I mean, Kray's perspective would definitely be that you're too afraid to face your both destiny and your, I guess, your guilt, right?
Mm-hmm.
In what happened at the events in Malachor 5, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much we can really read into this. It seems pretty straightforward, actually. Whereas the you had no choice would, the way I see that is basically just you either give up the Force entirely until it comes back to you through Kreia, or you become a Force wound. You turn into Nihilus, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You'd basically keep absorbing the Force until there was no more Force left to absorb and everything was dead.
Yes, no, maybe so. Hello. Again.
Yes.
For the next 2 minutes.
Hello.
That's,
For the next
hello.
Yeah, I don't know. We might have a couple minutes. All right. Well, I have another question. Here's another question. In other franchises that you can think of, who I'll try and paraphrase.
Okay.
Who has magic systems and what not most like the Force? Winder, English.
Most like the Force.
Okay, so what other franchises have magic systems that are similar to the Force? And which ones don't? I mean, lots of them don't.
Right.
But
It's
most,
harder to
I
think
guess
of the
don't.
ones who do.
yeah, which ones have a similar magic system to the Force? So I consider the Force to be a sort of platonic prime mover of sorts. So a very disembodied sort of does everyone know what Gnostic means?
Indeed.
I believe so.
Okay.
Exact opposite of agnostic.
Well, so basically, Gnostic, it's a derivative of Gnosis, which is basically a Greek word for metaphysical knowledge. Basically, if your religion is Gnostic, that basically implies that your metaphysics, your God, so to speak, is not like a person. It's not. Everything is quantifiable. Everything is logical, and everything just sort of can make sense given you have the intellect to understand it. Elder Scrolls is like this, actually. Elder Scrolls, that's what Kim is, basically. But I've kind of considered the Force to be sort of similar to that, because the Force is quantifiable, and the Force is sort of understood to be like a scientifically measurable thing. Although it does have a will, which is not that Gnostic. It is quantifiable, and it can be, like, measured in terms of, like, the Force's strength in somebody.
Yeah, the midichlorians.
Yeah. Basically.
Somebody was asking me about those the other week, and I was like, I really prefer the correlation definition to the causation. Right.
Yeah.
It's like they are attracted to high force-powered users more than cause the force power use.
Yeah.
Pretend they don't exist.
See, I'm probably the most okay with midichlorians then, in that sense. I actually kind of like the idea, but I see the midichlorians not as... Really? They don't create the Force. The Force is still a mystical energy field, but the midichlorians are what link the Force... They're what link the Force to sentience and to life forms, right? The Force is life. Life creates the Force. Life, the Force is essentially the collective gnosis of all life, the collective wisdom of all life. But
I just felt like it was too far to go to explain magic.
Oh yeah, it totally is. I mean, but that's why we're here. I mean, yeah, you're never gonna hear this in a fucking classroom. You're never gonna hear that in the classroom where they're going, the Hydean way goes this way, and the Perlinian trade route. Yeah, you're not gonna do that. But like, if we're really going like super big brain metaphysics here, yeah. So, but yeah, so since the Force is generated by all life and all of life's consciousness is sort of together, it also has this also kind of has some. George Lucas took a lot of inspiration from Buddhist metaphysics, like Buddhist and Hindu metaphysics, for this part specifically, and the fact that like all life is like sort of merged together. All life in the galaxy, at least, is sort of merged together in this sort of collective consciousness. This is we don't know it yet. We haven't achieved the mental, the gnosis, the mental capacity to truly understand how interlinked our brains all are, or we all are. What the midichlorians do is they allow you to sort of superficially tap into that Force. I hate because it's just the Force, but like when I say like,
right.
But you know what I mean. Midichlorians are power caps. Yeah, I mean if you want to, yeah, kind of.
It's an interesting way to look at it. I do prefer it though, where Yoda is hell of midichlorians because he's powerful in the Force. He has tons of midichlorians, therefore he is powerful in the Force. I kind of prefer the explanation where it's like, you are radiating the Force, therefore this creature is attracted to you more than this creature is in you, therefore you're powerful in the Force.
Well, so not to be the guy who like starts pulling books off the shelf.
No, I mean, yeah.
But so if you read Darth Plagueis, the best book in all of Star Wars.
Oh yeah. One of my favorites.
Top 5 heard.
Looks at webcam. Basically, Plagueis really like outlines what midichlorians are, and they're not a creature at all. It's not they're not actually they're not actual like beings that have their own will, consciousness, and like drive to survive, right?
Yeah, dumbing it down for the viewership.
They're more like they're more like cell organelles.
Parasites or nanomachines.
Well, yeah, none of those things. They're an organelle within your cells. They're just like a ribosome, or an endoplasmic reticulum, which is the powerhouse of the cell. No, that's the mitochondria. Damn it.
Mitochondria.
Damn it.
Powerhouse of the cell.
Well, it's just like a mitochondria, except
I've learned from Parasite Eve.
Yeah, it's like a yeah. Well, instead of a mitochondria.
Have you ever played Parasite Eve?
No.
But yeah.
That's a good game.
Get it.
Oh yeah, my chat's all saying now midichlorians are the powerhouse of the Force. Well, that's true. They are. That's literally what they are. The midichlorians are the
pretty much.
it's the part of a living cell that attunes it to the Force. They're not separate living beings. They're not like parasitic.
Oh yeah.
They're not like parasitic.
Parasites and
life forms.
nanomachines. I mean, largely a MacGuffin that exists in the blood, as of the Halo or Metal Gear franchises. Like,
Yeah.
not like literal parasites or nanomachines. They're just something that doesn't actually exist and could never exist.
It's definitely
Exists in your blood, and suddenly you have these powers.
It definitely in its inception was MacGuffin-y, but honestly it's been explained to such a good extent that I'm okay with them. I'm okay with midichlorians, like kind of as they're presented, but you have to frame them right. You can't just be like, oh yeah, they're inside you and they're what make you feel the Force.
We should just
Because that makes it seems like you just fucking you shoot up a fucking needle full of black tar heroin. You're like, oh, I can feel the Force now, you know.
Right, exactly.
That's a oral nuts reference. What are midichlorians? They're heroin.
Like them as like a power level. Like you scan somebody and they have a shit ton of midichlorians. They're clearly powerful.
Well, that's exactly what they are.
Not like you scan somebody and they have a shit ton of midichlorians.
Oh, so
that's
power,
how powerful they can be.
So yeah, power attracts the midichlorians. Not midichlorians don't generate the power. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly opposite of how Darth Plagueis presents them. But I kind of do like that idea.
Right.
It's an interesting idea for sure. But
a couple of books right after Phantom Menace, before Blade just came out, they kind of explored it as that to kind of giant fucking holes and retcons in the Phantom Menace. I always preferred that explanation compared to opposite.
Well, here's the thing: like before I read Plagueis, I didn't like midichlorians either, but then like I don't know, James Luceno just explained it so immaculately how midichlorians actually work. It's like, wow, that's actually way cooler. I don't know, but then again, I'm also a biology nerd, and like if you don't like biology, and if you don't like really going into like the fundamentals of how cells operate, then yeah, you might not latch onto it as well as I did. But yeah, I come from a family of biologists.
Parasite Eve is the best Star Wars, so
I was a bio major for a while. Like I'm definitely I definitely like biology.
There are a hell of a lot of Kotor streams right now.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Oh yeah, any Star Wars game is gonna be huge right now.
Right.
I wonder what the biggest Star Wars stream on Twitch right now is.
Cool.
Some chick that usually does like hot tub streams, just in a hot tub,
Yeah, no, it's gonna
straddling
be
a banana raft.
Oh well, you know, fucking
Commando. Like...
There's a porn star who plays Star Wars games like Fallen Order all the time, on Twitch.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh no.
Hang on, I gotta remember her name.
So if I go to Twitch right now, I'm gonna search Star Wars. And
That's what I just did, and the
stream.
top thing gave me a really scary image.
Top Star Wars stream.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking at Fallen Order because I want to see if that porn star is streaming it. She is, yo. Adriana
we all know where we're hosting.
Adriana Chechik. Yeah.
Damn it.
Yo. Hey, good for her, man. Would you guys pay sub money to watch a porn star play Jedi Fallen Order?
Sub money to watch a porn star go deep into the metaphysics of Kotor 2.
Yeah, let's host her and be like, what do you think about midichlorians being a cell organelle instead of a power level indicator? Not to sound elitist or anything, but
ASMR stream. Where it's like, exile.
Revan understood snacks.
Revan understood pretzels.
I perfectly remember Revan eating pretzels back on Tatooine. Phantom Menace made him seem more like level caps when they said Anakin had more than Yoda. Yes.
Which is what I don't like.
Yeah.
this 9-year-old has more than Yoda, so clearly he is instantly more powerful than Yoda in the story.
He is the chosen.
So he's literally never used a force power. He has no idea what to do. I get they represent maybe potential, but I prefer they're attracted to force potential instead of represent your force use
He
at that
just
point.
got lucky and rolled around in the wrong pile of dirt.
Right.
So
I totally see that though.
So I'm out of talking points, but I mean, like, we got like
I'm back to playing. I don't know, like.
yeah, if we got I mean, I'm gonna have Stark's little mic problem as the intermission there, because we weren't really talking. I mean, we were just kind of bullshitting while you're doing that. So all right, so what's some like more obscure? Let's do something more lighthearted. We've been talking about a lot of fucking metaphysics with Great Jedi and midi-chlorians and all kinds of crap.
That would be in a lighter note.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So, this is just something random I thought of, but it would be cool to see everybody's opinion on. Favorite character featured in a film that does not have a speaking line.
Ooh.
Or a sing.
Yarl Poof.
Okay.
Oh,
those are-
fuck!
I just love
also-
his,
Good answers.
backstory with the Force illusions and shit.
Plo Koon doesn't speak once.
Ah,
Yeah.
Plo Koon does not have a
There you go.
speaking line.
Wait,
I
he's
would
not speaking
probably give it to
film.
Plo Koon.
I mean, you could. We should say no speaking line in like Clone Wars or something too, because like you can say like any of the Jedi Masters. Honestly,
Oppo Rancisis.
he talks in
Or-
03 Clone Wars. He's like this.
Yaddle.
He's like the super conservative one who thought it was like an affront to the Order that Anakin be promoted to Jedi Knight.
Right.
Yeah.
He's about to come in like, I have very strong opinions about this.
Yeah. Yaddle doesn't. Yeah, I don't think Yaddle has any speaking lines
no.
in like anything.
The Galia.
Adi Gallia gets fucking killed by Grievous.
Another guy in my chat
Shakti.
asks if you could get Force powers, but only by dick injection, would you do it? Hard no.
I don't
How-
answer those sort
How big's
questions because they're just
how big's the needle?
immature and.
How big's the needle? Hog wants to know.
Does it go in your? Does it go up your pee hole, or does it like go into your dick muscle?
Yeah,
Or-
is this like a muscle?
or your-
Real deep lore questions we can't
like
hear
or one of
answers
your-
today.
Dude, I don't fucking it, like. I probably have the least caps out of all of you, so I don't fucking care.
He says right into the
Vibro
tip, so yeah,
needle?
hard no.
Right into the tip? Oh no.
Lengthwise?
I just so
Absolutely not.
just the other day I watched this. Me and Di are watching Boardwalk Empire on HBO, and fucking Lucky Luciano gets a syphilis injection, an old 1920 syphilis injection, which is like one of those gigantic like stainless steel needles shoved up your dick. Ugh! Things
I
you
can't.
things you can't unsee. Like, did you know that ball stretches increase force potential?
Oh, really? Force powers
Cute.
are stored in the balls.
Cue Yoda cock and ball torture montage.
Got a sack full of midichlorians.
Yeah.
I don't like this metaphor anymore.
Okay. We were talking about something totally different, and then we started talking about cock and balls.
Yeah, we were on the.
That's
Jesus,
how most
we
conversations
just
go.
talked
Oh,
about
yeah.
like characters who didn't have a speaking line in the films that.
Yeah, you know, we can go
Right.
through. We could go through every film, and like pick someone from that, because I feel like we'd all pick a Jedi Master otherwise.
Right.
Maybe, or maybe
The
one
problem
of,
is like
maybe one of like Separatist leaders or something, or the bounty hunters.
True.
Empire would just be bounty hunters.
Yeah.
New
No.
Hope. Well,
What?
I guess would just be your favorite design from the Cantina.
You don't
scene.
like Wilbur Hood, the guy with the ice cream maker,
Oh, I mean, ice cream maker.
or
did
Lobot,
that.
or Lobot. Lobot doesn't talk.
No.
Right.
No, yeah, no.
I almost
absolutely
want to
not.
say Lobot because I always hear everybody talk about when they were a kid growing up during Empire, always the sad Lobots just left over at every store.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, no one bought Lobot. Yeah.
My favorite part about being a Star Wars collector is like Darth Vader. Everybody had Darth Vader. He's cheap. Everybody had Luke. He's cheap. Walrus face. Everybody went out of their way.
Oh,
to buy
yeah.
Walrus face.
Oh yeah.
So he's
And
expensive.
Prune Face. And Prune Face. And Hammerhead. Yeah.
Right. Hammerhead, the Authorian. Right.
Yeah.
And then there's like that Wolfman in the cantina that was cut out of the original cut,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't see him
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
special editions.
There's up in a couple games and shit.
And the funny part too is they brought that race back in 03 Clone Wars because they had a Jedi that was a Wolfman race. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember his name,
Yeah. Same.
but he's got like some cool action scenes in the Battle of Coruscant. Okay, so
I'm trying to think now.
Phantom Menace, best unnamed character for
Bit
me.
characters.
For me, it's I don't know. Are we gonna count like lines and
Both. Right.
are we gonna count lines in like Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff if they're in it?
No, only if they have a speaking role in the film.
I would say no.
Those ones that
Well, then
don't
it's
have in
then it's
films.
hands down Plo Koon. It's gotta be Plo Koon. Yeah.
I'm sticking with, at least as far as Phantom Menace goes, Yarel Poof. I just like a lot of like the.
He died like a champ.
He did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Saved
Rails-
Coruscant.
really good follow-up character. Like Appa Rensisis, I like Adigalia. Don't like Evan PL.
No.
Yeah.
He's just tan Yoda with a missing eye.
Right. No, he had more of an arc in the Clone Wars series than half of the Jedi Council. Kind of like the mystique behind some of the characters.
Yeah. What about you, Thor? What do you think? Best unnamed Phantom Menace or a Phantom Menace character with no lines.
Sith probe droid.
What was that?
Does that not count as a line?
I didn't hear you because Stark said something like at the exact same time you did.
Sorry.
I have no idea. Like, I can't even pick. I couldn't even name one. I don't think. It's been so long since I've seen the prequels.
Me too, but like from my childhood, I have them like memorized, basically. So.
Right.
Aurra Sing was a really good answer, though.
Yeah. Aurra Sing was the first one I thought of. Although Aurra Sing's literally in like a split second. She's like, you see her in the like one of the pod racing stands for like a second. Best unnamed character in Phantom Menace is the Droidicas, I guess. No, they talk though. They go.
And would probably actually be the Nemoidian pilot for the Federation ship. With,
Okay.
like the weird
Oh.
With the eye things, the mask,
the eye covers and the mouth thing.
Mhm.
I actually really like that design. And it did more than the uncover ones like Lot Dodd, Rune Hako, Duke Gunray. I don't know why that design has always stuck with me, but I've actually always really liked it. Well, 9 isn't actually named in the movie, and it was later media that named him. But 9 might be another one.
Okay, so what about Attack of the Clones then?
Ooh, Attack of the Clones. Now that movie is just probably one of the Star Wars movies that resonates the least with me. This
That
one's my
means-
favorite.
And most people, yeah.
The worst one.
Yeah.
I think even to this day, except maybe Rise of Skywalker, I think it's still the worst Star Wars movie that's ever been
Because
made.
really, the only non-speaking characters I can really remember are just like the memeable ones, like Coleman Traber, that just get clapped by.
I was gonna say
That's
Coleman
really
Traber.
Is like all of the bit characters in the big scenes that have tons of big characters actually usually get a line, like Shu Mai, Wat Tambor,
Elon Sleaze
Sam
Bagano.
Hill,
Elan Sleaze Bagano.
Sleaze Bagano.
Some deaths.
You wanna buy some death sticks?
Sam actually say anything before she dies.
Yeah,
she
no,
has,
she goes.
like one line.
She goes. It was a bounty cutter. It was a bounty hunter called. That's what she goes. Yeah.
Yeah. That sucks.
Oh, she
because now
also-
I can't just say Sam Wessel.
She says something to Jango Fett too at some point, but yeah, she definitely is voiced.
I don't think so.
Honestly,
'Cause the only time they're on screen together is when Django saber darts her in the neck.
no, I'm gonna say Kit Fisto because he like force pushes over. He force pushes over C-3PO,
Yeah.
and like, and he goes,
Right.
"Ah!" and then he does like a shit-eating grin and walks off camera. Like, do you remember the Kit Fisto scene?
Yeah.
He forces over C-3PO,
Oh, yes, sir.
and then he just like smiles at the camera and runs away. It's
That
pretty
smile is such an iconic thing. That's the only thing that they carried over from his character for the 03 Clone Wars series.
Yeah, that
and
he's-
the
yeah.
last thing he does in the 03 is smile at the camera
Yeah.
and then swim away. Kit Fisto is probably actually just the objectively correct choice.
For Attack the Clones, yeah. Well, what the
Yeah, I
fuck?
can agree with that.
Fuck else you gonna say? Because you got the Separatist leaders, who aren't Newt Gunray, Sand
Almost
Hill,
all
or
of them
Wat
speak.
Tambor. Yeah, well, yeah, again.
Hill, Shumai, Wat Tambor.
Oh, yeah, Shumai talks too.
Asel Argante, I guess, doesn't speak.
Yeah, yeah. For those of you who don't know, he's the guy who looks.
Gonna pick him.
He's the guy who just looks like a fucking like ghoul in like a
He's
yellow
the-
cloak. Yeah.
Oh
Lemon
yeah,
human.
He's got
I
like a
didn't know
yellow.
that
He's got like a
turban
yellow
on.
veil with a window for his face, like a yellow burqa basically, and a
Right.
yeah. And he's got like sickly green skin. He just looks like a ghoul. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we
I
can.
can't think of anyone else.
Yeah, I guess we can move on to Revenge of the Sith if no one else has anything for Attack of the
Alright.
Clones.
I've,
Fisto's probably just.
And I'm actually
right.
getting a couple more Q&A questions, but then again, this
Okay.
would probably just all come back to our Empire discussion, because out of all the bounty hunters, who would be the all-time top one?
IG-88, hands down.
all bounty hunters.
IG-88, huh?
Out of the bounty hunters that Darth Vader
The bounty
hired,
hunters.
or
Yeah,
just
and
all
the bounty
Darth.
hunters with that
Well,
scene.
the way the question's worded, he said all time, so we're talking like
All
Oh,
time?
all time? Dirge, probably.
Bingo.
Yeah, I mean Dirge is pretty
Dirge.
OP.
Dirge had to be shot into his son.
Super
Like-
overpowered, but
Yeah.
literally every time he's showed up in media, he's been beaten by somebody.
Yeah.
So Dirge got beat by Obi-Wan. Django beat Obi-Wan. Is kind of my only discrepancy. Between
When did Django
choosing-
beat Obi-Wan? What?
Django like kicked the shit out of Obi-Wan. He had him dangling off a cliff, flamethrowered him, and then got away. Dirge did not get away.
Yeah, but he didn't like beat his ass. He just like delayed him long enough
Kill
to
him,
escape.
no, but
I wouldn't
Right.
call that beating Obi-Wan.
actually
got
died
the upper hand.
to Obi-Wan.
He definitely got the upper hand.
Survived against
He
Obi-Wan.
got he survived against Obi. That's a different story though.
and had the upper hand multiple times.
I mean, and then
Dirge
they
did
went
not.
up into space and they, compared their base systems, and he, clearly had the superior system.
Right. Like, I'm not saying Django is literally the GOAT. Like surely it's Calo Nord,
I mean, I would take
I was gonna say Calo Nord,
Candyman.
the Candyman.
the Candyman.
Candyman and Django would be a good comparison, actually.
I mean, Batu
PGA
Renfrew
I would
Maybe
also,
is
if we're
bounty
talking
hunter.
all time, I would also throw in, Ventress as a bounty hunter. I would also throw in,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would throw in the Grand Champion of the Great Hunt from SOTOR, the bounty
I
hunter.
was about to say
How-
the protagonist from Sweater.
The bounty hunter story, basically, yeah. Because he's pretty fucking broken. Like, honestly, like, what the shit you do
Yeah.
in that story?
Unquestionably.
Yeah.
How about this one?
I
The
still.
Mysterious Stranger.
Oh.
Mysterious strange.
Considering you can go and do bounty hunting.
I mean, Revan did technically do some bounty hunting on
Revan.
Terrace.
Yeah,
And took out Bendak Starkiller,
Yeah.
who never lost a death match.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not convinced Bendak Starkiller was ever actually that good at anything. I'm pretty sure he was just a chump that was like happened to be the best person on the shitty planet that is Terrace. I don't know. I'll try and think of another bounty hunter because I'm gonna take a piss and grab another beer.
I mean, I'm sure some people would say maybe Cad Bane in that discussion if he hasn't been mentioned.
Oh yeah, no, that's an. I wouldn't say he'd be top 5, but I'll keep that as an honorable mention.
Right.
Bane's pretty powerful.
I mean, he
but
has
again,
fought and gotten the
I
upper
don't
hand on
think
Jedi
he's
before.
he's A tier. I would say A tier.
That's fair.
If you're looking at bounty hunters, you got to look at everybody in the cube scene,
Right.
The cube episode of Rakardine.
Oh yeah, when Obi-Wan was
floating
undercover.
jellyfish guy,
Mhm.
Bosk, and all the randos. None of them made it through that, but that's not really any of their fault because it's kind of a test of teamwork or leadership.
Right.
Yes. A little bit funky, but so many fucking bounty hunters. Dengar
They
sucks.
really are.
We can all agree on that.
Yeah. Dengar in the comics is even kind of fucking lame.
Yeah.
I've been reading the hell out of like
Dengar
the new
in the
Bounty Hunter
novels.
series. Oh yeah,
Right.
I forgot about most of the novels.
Say that I love Zuckuss and Forlom, but they're at least like they're nifty, they're cool, they're
Right.
a pair at least.
They feel like they have the spirit to want to be like S tier bounty hunters, but they're just not.
I think the real question should be that Bosk, IG-88, and Boba Fett have their own songs by MC Chris, so they're objectively the coolest compared to anybody
Right.
else.
And those probably you could all argue into a top 5 pretty easily.
All right,
Certainly.
I'm back, and
Kind
yeah,
of hard to do IG-88 though.
yeah. If you've
There's
ever
like
read Dark,
10
if you've ever
IG-88s.
read Dark Empire, Dengar sucks ass. He's the whole reason Boba Fett
Dengar
doesn't.
is objectively the worst one.
He's
in
the
Empire
whole.
Strikes
He's the
Back
whole
game.
reason Boba doesn't actually capture Han Solo, because the big reveal that Boba Fett survives is in Dark Empire, because they're on Nar Shaddaa, trying to talk with like Han's contacts, and then Boba Fett just like pops out of nowhere, and he's like, and they're all like, "Oh, Boba Fett! Oh, you're alive!" You know, and he's with Dengar, and then when they get the hyperspace coordinates to go to the system where the eclipse is being built, Boba and Dengar in Slave 2, because he hasn't gotten Slave 1 back yet. Boba and Dengar in Slave 2 come out of hyperspace, and then the Imperials are like, that ship's unregistered. Blow it out of the sky. And then Boba was like, alright, Dengar, that's the last mission I do with you, as their ship is like blown out of the sky. It's really funny. Dengar and Boba are like the comical, they're like the Ithorian twins in the KOTOR comic in Dark Empire. It's really funny. They're just like constantly getting fucking like foiled.